What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Phaithful Phanatics Show. We are live here on a Monday evening on the DSM-Media Philadelphia YouTube and Twitter channel. Guys, first and foremost, do yourself a favor, do us a favor. Make sure to check out us on Twitter at DSM_media is where you can find us. Make sure to hit that follow button and then check out the link tree in our bio. It will take you to every social media platform that we are available on: TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all that good stuff. But make sure to check out the YouTube link that you can see on your screen here. If you want to be interactive throughout today's show, like my man To The Galaxy Slim is doing in the comments right now, subscribe, because your Philadelphia 76ers are off to a 5-1 start to kick off the 2025 campaign, Scotty, and they're not even fully healthy. The rotation's not even fully intact yet. We got a lot to discuss when it comes to those guys, and they meet up in Chicago to take on the Chicago Bulls, who are what, 6-1 on the young season, or 5-1 also? 5-1 on the young season, just lost to the New York Knicks. So we'll see which team can get to 6-1 first, and Howie Roseman during the bye week, busy as ever. Other GMs, they're just not going to learn, Scotty, when to stop dealing with Howie. I get it. It's some AFC teams that maybe they don't feel they're in the race. Oh, what's it bother me? Well, you're just continuing to stack the deck in the Eagles' favor. He goes out over the last, 5 days or so. He acquires Michael Carter II, a slot corner that probably would play the slot here in Philly and push Cooper DeJean outside. He's having a down year with the Jets. He was on the trade block for quite a few weeks here. We'll see if he has anything to turn over here in Philly. But he's not done at cornerback from there, Scotty. He goes out and gets Jair Alexander, which is very captivating so far because some people are out. He's washed. He's done nothing in Baltimore. We'll see what he can do here. And then the big one as of like 7 o'clock this morning, Jalen Phillips, the edge rusher from the Miami Dolphins. You are now a Philadelphia Eagle. Howie, busy. The Birds take on the Packers next Monday night in Lambeau. A week from today, 2.5-point underdogs as we're a week out. We got a lot to discuss, but my man, happy Monday and welcome back.
Interesting. I did not check the line on that game yet, but to be underdogs, that is so interesting.
Pretty funny.
Whatever. We're on the road. I guess that's why. But yeah, that's pretty funny.
So are the Carolina Panthers, but whatever.
Well, to each their own, especially if they want to wear those ugly ass jerseys. But no, I'm happy to be here, man. We had a little bit of a week off. Obviously, the Eagles had a week off. It kind of just matched up perfectly. We had a little bit of a bye week as well. But the Sixers, they remained active. They remained on good progress, obviously, and we just keep getting more and more hints that we're going to get some guys back soon. So that's really, really exciting with those guys. But yeah, man, bye week, I would say went pretty damn good for the Philadelphia Eagles overall, man. I mean, between what happened on the field during the bye week and obviously the off the field moves that the Eagles were able to make to kind of just secure some depth, man, some options around the board on defense. So,
like you mentioned, I mean, the Lions lost to Minnesota. We kind of joked about it for a second, but the Packers did end up losing on a walk-off field goal at home to the Carolina Panthers. So the Eagles didn't play a game, and yet they moved into, and I know it's still very early. It's the middle of the season. It just turned November, but they moved into the number 1 overall seed in the NFC. And while accomplishing that with a big matchup a week from today, Howie was really busy. So obviously, Sixers are in full go mode.
Real quick,
I can't wait to talk about it. But yeah, go ahead.
Real quick, I wanted to ask you just one question. I know that we've moved on from the Phillies a good bit here, man. Really quick, what do you think of this Bryce Harper thing? Is it a thing? And it can be really quick. It doesn't. We don't have to get thorough with this because I know I
wouldn't read too
bring
much
it to you before the show.
The biggest point is, like, if anyone was to ask, like, oh, do you think this means Bryce is going anywhere? No, like Bryce Harper is not going anywhere. It was interesting. The choice of words, I guess, Dombrowski had.
That's kind of what I'm asking about, Dombrowski, because I know how you feel about Bryce. I know how we feel about Bryce.
But he came up short. He came up short this postseason, and he came up short in Game 6 and 7 against Arizona. He played very well in the series, so it's weird because Bryce Harper has quite literally like historical postseason numbers. Problem is, you're getting into territory where that is almost half a decade away from us now. And it's what have you done for me lately thing. If I'm Dave Dombrowski, I probably wouldn't have chosen to use some of the words he said. I mean, it was somewhat throwing Bryce under the bus a little bit.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, no, like Bryce Harper's not going anywhere. I wouldn't make a big deal out of it. We are post Phillies, but the Dodgers are World Series champions in a ridiculous series, a ridiculous Game 7. I didn't think Toronto had a shot in hell, and they were 2 outs away from taking down the Dodgers themselves. But now you are right. Like, we are going to talk Phillies over the next couple of weeks because there's big decisions to be made on the future of this team. Who's coming back? Are there any new faces coming in? So free agency, all that stuff's going to start to open up over the next few weeks. So it'll be interesting, man. But speaking of moves, let's start with the Eagles and what Howie Roseman did in the bye week, right? We're not going to get into Green Bay. Yeah, we got all week for that. And all week for that.
Right.
But
got plenty of time to talk shit on Micah.
Yeah.
Worried about us a week ahead of time, buddy. You should have thought about that.
He addressed major needs, man. And obviously the bringing back of Brandon Graham out of retirement, I think, said all you need to know about the situation. Like, the Eagles see their pass rush and their edge rushers as big of an issue as the fans see it, right? And BG himself, obviously, when he came back and announced he was coming back, we were very excited for the leadership, for the person that he is. But as far as an on-the-field talent, a helper is going to be right now, that wasn't going to do it. So he makes the splash in Jalen Phillips, which is going to take up a majority of this conversation. I just want to start with the corners first for you, because I think people are being very critical of Jair Alexander. And I'm interested to see how it plays out, man. Now, maybe I know it's the revenge spot in Green Bay. He might not even suit up next week. Like, he's got some shit to learn. He might not be on the field in Lambeau. I think Jair Alexander comes in and helps this Eagles team in a big way. Oh, he's washed. Baltimore's defense is so bad this year that even when you're a star, and not that Jair's a star anymore, right? But even when you are a star, you do get caught up like in the garbage. Like, you get lumped in with all the struggles and all the issues, and you're trying to do so much, whatever the case may be. Jair Alexander today is younger than Darius Slay when he signed his first contract to become an Eagle.
Yeah.
His first contract to be here. So at 28 years old, man, no, I am not sticking a fork in what was a former Pro Bowl, All-Pro type of corner who the DB coach who he was with in Green Bay is here now. So I hate to use the word excited because there is such a question mark about what he can do still, but I am somewhat pretty excited about the Jair Alexander addition, because if he is anything like rejuvenated to be part of a winning team again, across from Quinyon Mitchell, next to Cooper DeJean, it's a big time addition, dude, because I wanted him badly in the offseason before he got traded to Baltimore or signed with Baltimore, whatever it was. Yeah, no,
I do feel you, man. There's two sides to the equation, as always, with these older players, right? Like 28 and 29 is now old in the NFL, which is just crazy to think about. But when you look at Jair Alexander, I think the concern is maybe just around the injury history the last couple years, right? Especially on his way out of Green Bay. But to your point, the personality that he brings, like, I don't know. There's a couple examples across the league both ways, right? Like, I look at Jalen Ramsey, for example, who, a lot of people were talking shit about him. Maybe he's washed leaving Miami. I know he's gotten picked on a little bit against these prolific wide receiver matchups, but I feel like he's played pretty well for the Pittsburgh Steelers, guarding number ones. He's being asked to do something that maybe he's not really set for in his career right now. And I think, when you look at Jair Alexander, maybe he could fit into that bucket where you bring him over to the Eagles. Now he shifts back to CB2, CB3. He's guarding wide receiver 3s, wide receiver 2s, maybe tight ends in the slot. So like whatever, right? I think when you look at it that way, it could work out for him because you take a little bit of that pressure. He's not coming in to be CB1 and really not even CB2 in a sense, right? Like Coop DeJean has that locked down. It's just a matter of where he lines up on the field. But no, I think it's once again, it's a risk-free type of move. Absolutely. You're not going to lose anything by doing this. At the very least, I think it gives me more confidence than Keely Ringo and company, right? Adoree Jackson. Like Adoree Jackson, like, yes, he is washed. We got to see that play out firsthand. And maybe it does play out that way with Jair Alexander. I'm not going to rule that out, but it's not on me to sit here and act like I sat here and watched every snap of his on the Baltimore Ravens secondary.
No,
I did not do that. I did not watch a ton of Ravens football this year in general, considering that Lamar Jackson's been out and they've been in the dumps in general, man. So, no, I'm not going to sit here and act like I know the Jair Alexander's washed. We got to see how he fits in with this unit. But I think the key here is that you did bring in a younger option as well in Michael Carter II. Yeah. And it gives you a little bit of versatility, a little bit of depth. And I think that's the idea across the board here. And we'll obviously talk a little bit about, we'll talk a lot about Jalen Phillips. But I think the idea is depth, versatility, options. And so now when we're looking at that outside corner, CB2, we have an option of Keely Ringo, Jair Alexander, Michael Carter II, whatever, Coop DeJean, if you want to slide him outside. And then same thing on the slot corner, right? We got Coop, we got Michael Carter II, who generally lines up there, and so on and so forth.
Vic, I think it's just can now do a lot of things.
Giving Vic his options to try different things and figure out what works. And you just hope that one of these corners work.
Yeah, which they could not accomplish 3 weeks ago. So
exactly.
You also had to,
I'm happy about it.
And they gave up absolutely nothing, man. Like, not only did they only give up a 6th in the Jair Alexander trade, the Ravens packaged a 7th to get rid of Jair Alexander. So you swap the 6th and a 7th round draft pick, and Jair Alexander is wearing an Eagles uniform now.
Yeah,
it doesn't make too much of a difference. He's only played in 61 total snaps as a Baltimore Raven this year. He only played in 2 games. He was a healthy scratch 5 times. So, look, I don't know what the deal is there, right? Is it an injury? Is it? I know it says healthy scratch, but like, is there something underlying there? Is he kind of fed up in a way? Do they just see something in practice where, he's what? I don't know what the story is. He hasn't played since October 5th, I believe, against, I think, the Texans it was for Baltimore. So, yeah, I don't know anything behind the scenes, obviously, when it comes to Jair Alexander. All I can do, like you said, is sit here and go, okay, they got a 28-year-old former Pro Bowl All-Pro corner for nothing, essentially, literally almost nothing, and hope it works.
Yeah, no, I tend to agree with you, man. It slipped my mind what I was going to say there. I apologize, but I can't remember. I know we're going to move on to Jalen Phillips.
I see the Pumper comments. It's funny. It's typical. You
brought up Pumper. Thank you. Yeah, that's exactly what I was getting at, because I'm thinking of Ringo, and the first thing I thought, man, was, are you like putting the cape on for Keely Ringo now?
That's what I was about to say.
Come on.
Within back-to-back comments, he hates on Joel Embiid, but then kind of, I think, is defending Keely Ringo. I don't know. But he said the Ringo slander is so exhausting, as if Keely Ringo has been like excellent.
Are you having like battles over Ringo? Argumentative battles.
Love him.
But the other thing I was thinking off of that notion, just completely random, what it is starting to look at, like, because we see a lot of weird situations, like CGJ moving team to team this season, right? And he's a guy that was coming from a Super Bowl champion defense, and he can't find a spot in the league now. He's been on 3 teams already. It's just some weird things going on with some of these DBs. So it just makes you wonder if it's all about fit, man. Like, how much of the NFL is just simply about
absolutely fit? Dude,
it's so interesting. But if Jair Alexander can fit in, maybe it can work.
There's obviously more to CJ Gardner-Johnson than other guys, because he doesn't stick anywhere. But maybe it's only because we're not watching all of his other games and we're not watching his tape. Maybe he is as excellent as he was in his 2 stints with Philly, but he was excellent here, dude. He was a difference maker at times at the back end of this defense. He was the personality of this defense at times. And then it's like, I've seen him in Houston, and I've seen him in I've seen him in that one season in Detroit. I know Detroit made a run, but I just don't quite recall CJ Gardner-Johnson being like the playmaker of that defense, or being the dog of that, of being a dog of any defense. So it is really about fit when you mention a guy like Jair Alexander, and we'll see what Michael Carter can do. But let's get to the beef of it, dude. It's the move this morning. And speaking of fit, Jalen Phillips had a career year before tearing his ACL, I believe, when Vic Fangio was in Miami with him. I think he had 11.5 sacks over a year and a half or 2-year spurt with Vic in Miami. They get reunited here. I think it fits like a glove, right? It was obviously a glaring need, arguably the biggest need this Eagles team had coming
Yeah.
out of the bye week, or going into the bye week, I should say. And Howie addressed it with one of the biggest, I guess, guys on the market, if not the biggest guy on the market, right? Myles Garrett's not getting traded, everybody. Max Crosby's, I don't believe, is getting traded. So Jalen Phillips is the biggest pass rusher on this trade block. And Howie went out and got him, man, for a 3rd-round pick. And look, if you're upset about the 3rd-round pick for a guy that's going to help try to win you a back-to-back championships, touch grass, because I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, I would even take it a step further and touch grass and, dig into some information regarding what happens if, the Eagles don't sign Jalen Phillips to an extension at the end of this season, because he'll become a free agent, obviously. And first thought is, if you don't sign him back, you traded a 3rd-round pick and now you lose the guy to free agency. But the big kicker there, I was watching this podcast. I was just watching a segment from CBS Sports earlier, and they kind of broke it down. And basically, at the very least, if Jalen Phillips walks in the market, he's obviously going to get picked back up, and you're going to get, at the very least, a compensatory 4th-round pick. So, worst case scenario, you traded a 3rd for a 4th. You get a half a season of Jalen Phillips, who has a tremendous upside, especially with Vic Fangio. And yeah, man, to your point, I think he had some huge seasons in Miami, especially when he first came out of college, working with Vic Fangio and his system. He was really able to get off. He struggled with a couple injuries, Achilles, and then a torn ACL following that. So he has had it's an injury risk at most here, right? That's the big kicker. That's why he's ultimately getting moved at the age that he's getting moved. But I think, we've taken risks like this before, and we've seen them work out greatly in our favor.
Absolutely.
And I think ultimately at the end of the day, this is more than worth the risk, because this is a guy that can explode with this defense. Yeah. I saw something, I believe it was that he was top 12. He doesn't have the sack numbers to match. I think he has like 3.5 sacks this year.
But in terms of pressure rate,
he's like top 12. I want to say the 12th is the number sticking in my head, but you can fact check me there. But no, man, I'm excited. And I think, once again, just to kind of harp on the point I was making earlier with the corner situation, it's the same thing here, because you mentioned you added BG. He didn't suit up before the bye week, so that's going to be a new addition after the bye week concludes, going into this Green Bay game. And on top of that, we got Nolan Smith coming back. So it's not only that you add Jalen Phillips, you add Jalen Phillips, BG, and Nolan Smith to what we already have. Josh Uche, Jalix Hunt, they've been coming around of late anyway.
And Nakobe Dean is getting reacclimated, which maybe you can do a couple different things with Jahad Campbell in terms of putting him on the edge and seeing if he can create some pressure. So we went from a team that had a clear weakness, clear holes in one part of their defense, 2 parts of their defense, and within 5 days, Howie Roseman has flipped it into possibly a strength, like you mentioned, like Jalen Phillips.
Versatility.
When you think of like the top, if you were to name a top 5 pass rushers in the league, Jalen Phillips isn't cracking anyone's top 5, right? Jalen Phillips probably cracking a top 10, top 12, somewhere in that. But Jalen Phillips is a dog. And obviously, when you talk about the connection with a Vic Fangio and the success he had before, you mentioned, and then obviously what we were talking about with a guy like CGJ, like Jair, when it comes to like personalities and fit and stuff like that, this is none of that. This is just, okay, let's not get injured, right? Like there are no concerns with Jalen Phillips in terms of personality, in terms of leadership, in terms of even fit, because your job is very simple. Put your hand in the dirt and get after the quarterback, brother. That's it. So I am incredibly, incredibly excited for what Howie did to this team, which was already, in my opinion, the best team in the NFC and one of the best teams in the National Football League, and just bolstered it to where I'm sitting back, man, and I'm watching the Washington Commanders and the Green Bay Packers and the Detroit Lions, and I'm watching these teams with these flaws that people just don't like to talk about. I'm watching the Chiefs lose again, and they have a 2-game or 2.5 game deficit to the Broncos in their division now. And I'm just like, man, the way that these teams get talked about differently than the Eagles, I'm just that much more confident now in what Howie has put together.
It's amazing, man. It's amazing. I was actually getting pissed off watching some of the NFL coverage on Sunday morning because they were just digging into like MVP candidates, which obviously MVP candidates feed off of winning records, right? And so, the first couple of people, they just, somebody pointed to Jonathan Taylor as the MVP of the season so far. And then the next person was like, no, I'm going to go over to the Rams with Matthew Stafford. And I'm just sitting here watching, and I'm just like, do we not learn from our previous mistakes, our previous false expectations that have been set? Like, we just do not learn. My man Jalen Hurts is sitting here with a 20 touchdown to 1 turnover ratio, 2 turnovers. I think a fumble and one interception is
2 turnovers, 1 pick. Yeah,
1 fumble, 1 pick, and he's not even mentioned in MVP combos.
No, I know Acho mentioned
banging the table. Like, come on.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
Listen, would I sit here and call Jalen Hurts a top 2 to 3 MVP candidate? Do I think he's a favorite like you mentioned? No, I wouldn't say that. But I think that Jalen Hurts is damn sure in the conversation, right?
Is Stafford over Jalen Hurts right now?
Right. And people just continue to value different things, Scotty. Like, to me, winning matters when it comes to an MVP, right? Like you mentioned, 20 total touchdowns to 2 total turnovers, 1 interception. That is unheard of in this day and age. You look around the league and these teams that lost this past week and how they lost, right? Daniel Jones, 7-1. The Colts are on fire. How many turnovers did the Colts and Daniel Jones have, and Daniel Jones specifically have this week?
Right.
They lose a game in Pittsburgh. I know Justin Herbert comes away with the win. Justin Herbert barely beats Cam Ward in the Tennessee Titans. He turns the football over. Jordan Love continues to turn the football over. Jaden Daniels continues to turn the football over. All these guys turn the football over and lose games, and they're talked about in a different light. I'll take it a step further. I know we're going to move on. I know it's not really the point of this conversation, but it does just – I was talking about it earlier. It does just rile me up the way this team and the way this quarterback is analyzed and talked about compared to other people, man.
On a different scale, yeah.
Oh, he's the tush push merchant, Scotty. Josh Allen has more tush push touchdowns than Jalen Hurts does this year. Josh Allen now has 4 rushing touchdowns by way of the tush push after yesterday. Jalen Hurts has 3 on the season. The Bills deemed this play so unsafe. They ran it how many times against the Chiefs again yesterday?
Clown. That is just clown
like
shit.
You mentioned, man. I mean, the dude's almost around 2,000 passing yards, 20 total touchdowns. He's not turned the football over. His team's 6-2, and it's not the same super team everyone keeps claiming it to be, right? Because what is it, man? I know I went on this rant last week or whatever it was, but you got to pick. You can't just pick and choose week to week, right? Oh, A.J. Brown's unhappy. The passing game stinks. Saquon hasn't gotten off in a game yet. The defense has all these holes. Okay, well, then you're clearly saying they're not a super team right now. Well, then how are they 6-2? What is a common denominator between the Super Bowl years last year, the Super Bowl last year, and the 6-2 start this year? What's the same if everything else right now is struggling for the Eagles? Oh, number 1. So the way that he's talked about, man, compared to other quarterbacks around the league, the MVP talk, the way this team is talked about, this team's the best team in fucking football again. And I just can't wait for them to prove it over the stretch, because here comes the gauntlet, man. Here comes the Packers in Lambeau. Here comes Detroit on Sunday Night Football. Here comes that gauntlet of the schedule where people are going to look and, we'll see in 3 to 4 weeks what their record is after all this, and we'll see how they're talked about and discussed.
Yeah, no, it's just interesting. I look at the Packers, man, and I can't imagine the Eagles coming out and scoring just 13 points against anyone, let alone the Panthers.
Brother, I don't know if you caught the part of the game on Red Zone or whatever you were watching, but did you watch the play where Jordan Love ran around and around and around and around? And I know it was fourth down.
Is it the one where he threw it into triple coverage to Christian Watson? Is that?
Oh, no, that's an actual interception that occurred.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of in my head.
The other one, they were kind of in the red zone area, and he runs around, he's scrambling, he rolls to the left side of the field.
And the guy drops it. Yeah, I did see that one. Yeah.
If Jalen Hurts made these types of throws, my Lord.
There was not a Packer in the area. There wasn't a Packer in the area of Denver.
The one you're talking about, the Christian, I mean, he quite literally underthrew it by 10 yards and threw it into triple coverage for an interception.
Yeah.
On 1st and 10. Not on 3rd down or 4th down where it would have been a punt or whatever.
Yeah.
First and 10, he drops back with confidence, slings it right into an interception. It's just funny to me, man. So
I'm with you, man.
I am excited for this Monday night matchup.
I'm with you.
We'll
You
see
had the
how it
Lions
goes.
lose to JJ McCarthy. They're out there getting cooked by that guy. It was once again an excellent bye week for the Eagles. And I'll give you my checklist, man, going into the bye week, and we can answer these questions. Have these been addressed?
Okay.
Improve the pass rush, right?
Check.
We give a check.
Yeah.
BG, Nolan, Phillips. Improve CB2.
Check. I mean, yes.
As much as we can, right?
There's questions, but yes, they definitely have improved it compared to
what else can we do?
Right.
Other than trading for like an all-pro corner like Denzel Ward, right? Like, yeah, sure. Unleash Saquon or get the run game going.
Right before the bye week, yes, they did that.
Yeah, that's the one I find most questionable, but I still gave it a check mark because we did see some success. The O-line gets time to get healthy over the bye week, which is big for obviously Landon Dickerson and Cam Jurgens. And then finally, man, can we get Jalen and the passing offense going on rhythm? Can we get them going on the right path? And I think that's the one that has exceeded by fine margins.
Right. I mean,
I think we've been there.
The 2 games prior to the bye week, one in Minnesota against, one of the top 3 or top 5 pass defenses in football on Brian Flores' team, has a perfect passer rating over the last 2 weeks, has 7 passing touchdowns. Again, the turnovers are down. They're non-existent.
Yeah.
He threw for 350 against the Vikings. Obviously, the number was low against the Giants. Okay, man. I mean, he threw 3 touchdowns in a in a blowout win at home, but whatever. Yeah. So the passing offense, check. And the rushing thing, man, I do agree with you. Out of all of what you said, I mean, that's the one because there's only one game, one piece of evidence that you can look at and be like, oh, Saquon had a great day here. But it's just, even though it wasn't happening, man, it was just never a concern. I'll tell you what needs to continue happening out of the bye week. Kevin Patullo needs to continue to get creative. I mean, you can go back, I believe, tell me if my memory's wrong, because we know that Devontae Smith deep touchdown in Minnesota was out of under center play action. And was Jahan Dotson's touchdown from under center play action, or am I making that up? That could be made up. But my point of one of Goddard's is like an RPO concept 2-level route where he gets Goddard out moving, gets in the ball, he runs like 20 yards for the touchdown. That's the stuff I'm looking for, man.
Yeah.
We shouldn't see any more statistics or tape where it's 99% when they're under center, it's a run. When they're in the gun, it's a pass. Yeah. Be creative, continue to do what you're doing, and this offense and this run game specifically will continue to improve. I am not the least bit concerned. I know you're not either. I'm not saying this about you, but people that are concerned about Saquon Barkley or this rushing attack, again, said it earlier, touch some grass. It's okay. Get outside.
I think
it'll be okay.
For me, the concern isn't about running the football. It's more about the health of the O-line, and that's just a concern in itself, right? Like, that's not running the football. That's just, if this O-line is not good to go, then obviously we're going to have some struggles. So, yeah, to your point, I think as long as we know that those guys are going to be there, then, yeah, the run game is going to get going at some point. What did you I know we got to move the Sixers, but what did you think? It's not a huge deal, obviously. He was here for like a hot minute, and I'm talking about John Mechie. Yeah. I believe he was included in the Michael Carter deal.
Trade. Yeah.
Do you think that was more that the Jets wanted him specifically rather than Dotson, or do you think it's more that we wanted to keep? Do you know what I'm getting at? Like, do you think
combination of both? And
Dotson has kind of solidified himself here?
Yeah, and I think the playing time would allude to that, right? Like John Mechie, dude. Even when AJ Brown was out Darius Cooper was getting snaps. John Mechie wasn't touching the field. Tank Bigsby got going against the Giants, and to spare Saquon. Like he got to see the field, right? John Mechie, I don't know what it was, what it is, practice behind the scenes, I don't know, but clearly there wasn't much room for him to pan out here in Philly. What they do? It was Mechie and like a 6th or a 5th for Carter and a 6th or a 7th. So they swap a round pick and they swap Mechie and Carter. They swap picks and get Alexander, and they trade a 3rd for Jalen Phillips. Yeah. Howie Roseman has absolutely dominated the trade market and fixed big time holes within this defense.
Yeah. And just one last piece to add into that. Without mortgaging our future, like, yes, you gave up some late round picks. There's a lot of rumors out there, right, around the Myles Garretts, the Denzel Wards, different guys like that, Max Crosby's. Those guys cost first round picks. Like, those are big deals. And while I'm not saying I wouldn't be willing to, give a few of those away for those type of guys, I think these type of moves are more Howie Roseman-esque and, just kind of finding the wind within the market. And, so makes more sense.
And on top of that, you have a general manager who looked at his, in his drawer here and opened it up and saw, oh my God, how many picks do I have next year and over the next couple of years? I mean, even with all the action and all the pick swaps and everything he's done, this third round pick for Phillips, how many picks do we still have next year? He's got 8,
right?
Something like that, 7, something ridiculous. So, and the third round pick that we gave up is our own, not the Jets. So it's a favorable third round pick compared to where we would be slotted in the third round. So yes, interesting is, I guess, the correct word, because it's another small piece that Howie slid in there.
Make a prediction, man. Is Jalen Phillips, does he end up getting a contract extension from this day when the trade is made? Do you think that he will end up earning it?
Does he earn it? 1,000%. I tweeted it out. I know I'm being overreactionary. To me, the Philadelphia Eagles are the Super Bowl favorites. I just think it's clear to me. Until you beat the king, you can't be the king, right?
I think they've gotten there just by having a bye week.
Yeah. And
I think they got back there.
And so I think that he earns it 1,000%. However, you met like the Jalen Carter extensions coming up. But Howie can do a lot of things when it comes to this, man, and contracts. So
look,
I would love to keep Jalen Phillips here in Philadelphia for the future. We'll see how it plays out.
It's way down the road, but has Jahad Campbell made Nakobe Dean expendable? It's way down the road. It's way down the road, obviously.
But it's sad though, right? Because that's
something
where
that could come to fruition.
I would be interested to see if you can implement Nakobe a little bit more and use Jahad, in that pass rush.
Because when did we get away from 3 linebackers like all together? You know what I mean? Like,
correct, and not just that, man.
2 outside linebackers in the middle.
Everyone keeps talking about how great the Campbell and Bond connection has been this year, and 1,000% it has.
Yeah.
But we were having the same conversation about Bond and Nakobe last year, if not on a higher level. So, Nakobe Dean was playing ridiculous football for this team before injury. Now, maybe he's just not going to be the same guy moving forward. Another injury, another surgery. Maybe that's where Jahad stays in his role and you don't want to mess with it. That's completely fine. Maybe
I think Nakobe's looked good, though, honestly.
Yeah, exactly.
So he's looked explosive.
Yeah, when you have a plethora at that position, man, I don't see any way, shape, or form you have to start messing with it. So,
agreed.
Keep them right there.
And who knows? Maybe Jalen Phillips, maybe it becomes a competition between him and like Jalix Hunt for next contract. I don't know. We don't know how he's moving right now, so we'll see. We know he's always got a plan, and at the end of the day, this is a positive, a plus, no matter what, in my opinion, man. Yeah. Even if God forbid, knock on wood, something bad happens, it's still a positive because once again, you get that compensatory pick back. So it's very, very low risk. But here we go, man. Super Bowl. Defending Super Bowl champ back to back. Is it reloading? We shall see. We got the gauntlet, as you mentioned.
The Dodgers did just go back to back. So do we go back to back? We sold the Phillies for this moment. So Orion Kerkering did not just throw that ball home for no reason. He did it for a reason. But maybe, Scotty, it's not the reason we're talking about. Maybe it's not for the Eagles to go back to back. Maybe it's because it's another team's time. Hold on, only 6 games. Hold on. Let me stop.
Oh.
Let me stop. Calm myself down over here. All jokes aside, man, this Sixers start to the season has been so much goddamn fun. Not just because they're 5-1, like not just the wins pile up. It's how they're doing it. It's seeing the contributions from so many different guys, the way that Tyrese Maxey has seemingly just ascended to another stratosphere to start this year. What Quentin Grimes is doing from 3. What do you have? 13 assists in Brooklyn the other night, a career high. What VJ Edgecombe is doing early on in the season. The way that Bona and Drummond have looked like formidable backups for Embiid. The fact that Barlow had a great start to the year, got hurt, so he hasn't even factored into this equation. Paul George, Jared McCain, and Embiid missing time and on a minutes restriction. Like, this team isn't even close to full go. This rotation is going to be so much more solidified in a few weeks, man. And they are winning basketball games. And even in the loss that they had, the fight within this team, the way they clawed back against the Celtics for a second time after the Celtics were unconscious in the first half and Jaylen Brown was popping off. They end up losing that game by 1 and had a chance to win it at the end. But here's the big thing, man, right? You had the Magic win, which was big. They came from behind against the Hornets and the Celtics. They came from behind down 19 against the Wizards in the middle of last week. But then you get to Brooklyn. You get to a winless Brooklyn Nets team, and people are interested to see, like, kind of not what you're made of, but kind of how do you handle this bad, porous team?
Should dominate them. Yeah.
Oh, well, they handled them, Scott. I mean, from opening jump to final horn, I mean, that game wasn't a ball game. They dismantled what was left of the Brooklyn Nets. And that was huge, right? Because like the Hornets aren't a good team, but they have some fire. They have some fire offensively, and they have guys like LaMelo and Miles Bridges, and some young guys in Con Knipple and all. So they have some firepower. You play the Celtics twice. That Magic win was a big win. Even the Wizards have some offensive firepower. This Nets team seemingly has none of that. And the Sixers did exactly what they need to do. Trendon Watford has returned and has had some spurts where he's looked really good and fit in well within this team. I can't stop. I think I've texted you this 900 times since the season started. I love this basketball team. I love everything they're doing right now.
Yeah, no, I feel you, man. They're a lot of fun to watch. And obviously it's been a great start to the season. Even like you said, with the loss to Boston, you kind of just take that on the chin. The only disappointment in that was that it was the NBA Cup game, so it's just like, man, I would like to,
which we had
to garner some success in the NBA Cup. Just I don't know why, I just would like to use it as like a confidence builder in a sense, playing a meaningful game per week, right? But nonetheless, it was a game. Obviously, Boston wanted a little bit of retribution from losing back at home the way they did earlier in the season, and they're a team that's going to play hard, even without Jason Tatum. They're going to be a tough beat every night. You heard it from his mouth. He said, a lot of people are sleeping on that team. They still have guys there that can score the rock. So, yeah, at the end of the day, I think all we can ask for early on in the season, especially without the players that we're missing right now, is progress and growth from these guys. And I think on top of it right now, we're getting winning as well. So it's a great start, man. And I'm looking at a few things to start the season. Obviously, something sticking out is just the ability to win without Embiid, ability to win minutes without Embiid, even in the games that he is playing. He's 5th on the team in scoring right now, even 4 out of the 6 games that he's played.
Even having a game where he scored 25 in 20 minutes, like he's had moments where he's looked great as well.
Yeah, no doubt. I just think the ability to stay afloat, the ability to win and to quite frankly dominate without him on the floor is important, obviously. Absolutely. Given his track history,
something that they've never been able to accomplish.
Trajectory of this team. Yeah, exactly. So, to your point about Maxi's ascension, I think I tread lightly with discussing like leader of the team, but I don't know. I think like I'm looking at Maxey right now, man, and he's just on another level. He reminds me a lot of like a Jalen Hurts, just like do the right thing kind of guy. Like he's just different from Embiid. He's just a different style of person, player, all of it. And it's not like some indictment on Embiid. It's just more of a praise for Maxey, man, in the way that he's able to lead this team. He's kind of a no excuses. He brings that no excuses type of mantra to this team, and you can really start to see that being implemented in the culture. And I liked even when there was a discussion that they were recapping on the latest broadcast about Embiid and like how he's had the minutes restriction. It's been frustrating for him, like being in the game and then not being able to finish the game.
Quick hurts.
Something that was mentioned that really just struck me, man, was the fact they mentioned that Maxey had, spoken about it. And he said, hey, we understand the big fella's frustrated, that it's working right now, and we're figuring some things out in the time being. And it's just such a mature way to redirect the question and redirect the conversation and make it what it's really about, which is preserving Embiid and getting him to the postseason, even just 85% healthy by that point. Like,
winning basketball,
it's working.
Right? Like this is incorrect. I knew I would come back to this.
Yeah,
when I say they're playing winning basketball this way, it's not because of this comment. Okay, they are not a better team without Joel Embiid.
I do think against specific matchups, they can play a specific style of basketball to be better. But to your point, overall, against the top dogs of the NBA, no.
I think for sure, and not just in matchups, but in spurts within those matchups. Like, even because of the minutes restriction, the way that they have, sidelined him in a fourth quarter or whatever, and they've come back and won a game, people get this, twisted, demented thought where, oh, look what they're doing without Joel.
Yeah.
They also had Joel score 25 in 20 minutes. Like on 7, you know what I mean? Like, so no, they're not just a better team without Joel, but there are moments where they can take advantage of playing and getting out in space and letting Maxey and Edge come in, Grimes and these guys, when a Barlow's healthy, a Bona, whatever, to have that type of energy to push pace, to push tempo, to do different things. So yes, to your point, 1000%, but it's because in the past, that's a comment that tailspins out of control, right? Because it's not just the question that Maxey was asked, man. The way that Embiid, I wanted to ask you this, like the way that Embiid responded a few nights ago when asked about the minutes restriction, basically being very frustrated with it publicly, not keeping it behind closed doors and saying, I might as well just stay home with my family. Probably not the best comment to make, right?
Yeah.
Yet again, he's saying something that he probably shouldn't in the media. But then to your point, like after that, Maxey kind of gets brought up and he steers the ship back in the right direction, like you said. So that is a big thing.
I would have more concern around comments like that from Embiid if that was like the only output that we were getting from him. But we are also getting him very positive, engaged on the bench. We're getting him like praising a Dembona, praising Andre Drummond. So like he gets it. Like he's just being Embiid by letting that frustration out in the open. It's just he's outspoken. Sure. He's always going to be that way. But
he got fined for doing a little chop, and then had some tweets, and he was adding the NBA onto it. I'm sure he's going to get fined again.
It's good to have that balance, man, of like fun, which Embiid brings, like the trolling, and like it's good to have that level of confidence and fun behavior, but then also have that seriousness of VJ and Maxey and kind of the young attitude that they're bringing to the team too. I think it's a good balance once we get this thing fully flowing with PG.
And that's the big thing, man, which could be coming very shortly for this. Yeah. So let me ask you this kind of before we wrap up.
What's up?
Because I think you've seen different guys. I think you've seen all the guys step up in the same game, but I think in different ways throughout different nights, these guys have really shined, right? You had Kelly Oubre Jr. with 22 points in the first quarter last night in Brooklyn.
He's been awesome.
So what I want to ask you is, what would you, if you had to pick one, I know it's hard. I know they all could be equally as important to this team's success. But if you had to give me one, the biggest difference maker, the biggest plus to the way this team is playing right now, the way Kelly has played this year, what Quentin has done this year, or what the rookie has just instantly attributed to this team. Because that's something else, man. Like, VJ offensively was supposed to be a little bit of a work in progress.
Yeah.
Jump shot, the 3-point shooting wasn't really supposed to be where it's at right now.
Right.
What I know they're all very important, but if you had to tell me, hey, this is the difference maker right now, what would you go with?
Yeah, it's a good question. And to your point about VJ, it's like the only complaint I'd have about him is the lack of aggression offensively.
Right.
The last 2 games, maybe, and maybe he's just a little tired, getting adjusted to the NBA schedule. So maybe that's not even an attitude thing. It might just be, him getting back to what he was doing. But even with that, I'm talking about a basement of 15, 16 points that he's getting on these nights where he's not being aggressive. And I'll put that in parentheses, right? But no, I think when you ask that question, man, my mind goes to who can maintain this once everybody's back. That's kind of where my mind goes.
Great point.
And immediately my mind goes to VJ. I think he's the one that remains. I think that production is what remains. I'm not saying that Quentin Grimes and Kelly Oubre aren't going to be big parts of this team when PG and McCain return. But I think when you look at PG and you look at McCain specifically as player types, whose like type do they match perfectly almost? Like McCain, Grimes, like they're kind of the same player. And then PG, I mean, Oubre, much lesser version in my opinion from a scoring standpoint, but that wing, that 3-and-D wing type player that can help out rebounding defensively, they kind of overlap. So I think that PG will ultimately slide into. Does Oubre? I mean, there's a world where Oubre still starts. I'm not saying he goes to the bench by 100%, but maybe. I don't know. It'll depend on how they kind of rotate these guards. Nonetheless, I just think VJ's skill set is the skill set that cannot be matched. It's the skill set that nobody else presents on the roster, quite honestly. He can guard a number one. He gets in on the boards. He gets into passing lanes. He's way more athletic than pretty much anybody else on the team. So I just think he brings it. Like, honestly, you saw the energy with a missed dunk. It lights up the entire building, and it's not even in Philadelphia. Like, that's the type of energy this young guy is bringing, and I think that is that's the big game changer. But I just don't want to undersell Oubre and Grimes. They've been tremendous, man. They've been awesome.
If I had to say, and I'm not going to say that anyone suffers from, them getting healthy or anything like that. Yeah, I would say Kelly probably suffers the most from them all coming back and playing fully go. Grimes to me might be the guy and don't get me wrong, if VJ continues to shoot the three with confidence, he's in the same boat. But Quentin's 3-ball ability is the difference to me a bit, to where
more well-rounded offensively.
Yeah, that space around Embiid between those guys, like just that plug and play guy.
That's a good point.
Before we hop off here, man.
Yeah.
The returns, and basically when I say the returns, I guess I mean Jared McCain, Paul George,
Barlow.
I guess we'll just go with those two.
But yeah, those are the two. Yeah, those are the main guys.
Who do you think benefits the most out of those two from what's taking shape right now and how these guys are growing?
I want to say Paul George because I think there's still a very clear role for him on this team. I say the overlap with him and Oubre, but he could slide into that power forward start there, and maybe that's what Nick Nurse wants to roll with and keep Oubre in the starting lineup. With McCain, he's gonna get minutes. I'm not saying that. He's just got a lot of competition at that guard spot. He's behind the 8-ball, in my eyes at least. I don't know if it's like that for Nick Nurse and the organization, but he's injured. He hasn't been in the rotation, so he's going to be the last of those 4 guards to kind of get the opportunity right now. So he's going to have to re-earn that opportunity. Because, do you know what I mean? You don't just, VJ doesn't just go to the bench and, just sit there now. No, you got to give him his run.
For sure.
And then McCain will kind of fill in the margins at first, I would imagine.
Yeah.
What do you think? Where does McCain line up on that depth chart? Obviously it's Maxey, guards, Maxey.
Right, because if you're keeping Grimes off the bench too, I mean, I think McCain comes in and kind of runs the unit, man. That's what I think is so fun. So I think it'd be so fun about this picture is him and Grimes getting to play together and just running free and running loose. And you throw a guy like a Dominic Barlow out them or Dembona out there with them with the size and athleticism to get out and run, and you keep a starter out there. That's where things can get real interesting with this rotation and what they can do, man. So I'm excited. Obviously, go ahead.
I just wanted to throw some praise out there for Watford the other night. Last night specifically. Obviously, it's against his old team. It's a poor Brooklyn Nets team, but 16 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists, 7 for 9 from the field. I'm excited for this guy. That's the first flash that he looked like what I thought he was going to be coming in. I didn't like him against Boston.
Funny, man,
he looked a little out of place.
He made his debut within the first 26 seconds of him being in. He threw a pass right into the chest of a defender, turned the ball over, missed the three. I was like, oh God, like bad debut.
I'm off this guy.
Yeah, no, but
Another guy like that
yeah.
though that I am off of is Justin Edwards, bro.
Yeah, no, yeah,
I get so pissed when he shoots. I get so pissed.
Yeah, especially when they get fully healthy. I think Justin Edwards is obviously out of the rotation. But
Yeah.
no, with that said, man, we're gonna have plenty more time this week
Plenty
to talk about
yes, sir.
this Sixers team and the schedule ahead and the Eagles. So with that said, guys, make sure to subscribe to the YouTube, follow us on Twitter, and we will talk to you guys on Wednesday. Peace out, everybody.
Peace. Go Sixers. Go Bird.